It's Sports by the Book at the South Point Studio. Here's Jeff Parles and Alex White.
Welcome in at Sports by the Book, South Point Studio. I'm Jeff Parles. These are balloons. Alex White is here as well. Hi, Alex.
I'm Alex White, and on behalf of South Point Studio, happy birthday to Jeff Parles.
I appreciate it, Alex. And yes, I told Sean that one balloon was perfect, and he blew this up right before the show. We appreciate that. You brought these beautiful balloons in as well. The Schmitty, Werben, Men, Jensener, your number one is amazing.
That's your favorite?
They're all great, but that one's especially amazing. I'm going to move this down here so it's not distracting everyone. These are staying. These are staying for sure. We got a lot to get to. The Panthers may raise the cup. The Celtics decided not to do anything last night, so we'll get into that in a little bit. But, Sean, you can swoosh it. We can go ahead and let's go. Starting five, I already spoiled number one because that's the Florida Panthers going for the Stanley Cup tonight. Edmonton's still favored in the game, though, Alex. Total 5.5, as we expected, as it's been all series long. As the Panthers, again, looking for their first Stanley Cup championship tonight, and they are an underdog to do it.
Oilers hoping to do what the Mavs did last night and force a Game 5. The total is very intriguing to me. Of course, we've seen a ton of unders throughout this postseason, but here in Edmonton, we did see a game go over in Game 3. Number 2, MLB big pitching matchup today. Mariners take the first game of the series 3-2 over the Rangers. Nathan Eovaldi will start for Texas. San Francisco Giants and George Kirby are the favorite, though. Minus 126 here at the South Point. Total in that one has moved down. I saw 7 last night. Might be still a few 7s out there, but 6.5 here now at the South Point.
Again, Seattle, that's the top two teams out west. Seattle's in first, and they have a 6.5 game lead entering today. I haven't been overly impressive, but here they are with a nice size lead. College World Series craziness in Omaha yesterday. 2 walk-offs, North Carolina due to Virginia, and then in as good of a game as we've seen in a while, Tennessee comes back on multiple occasions, walks it off against Florida State. So that'll be UNC Tennessee and Florida State Virginia in an elimination game on that side of the bracket. The other side of the bracket gets going today. Kentucky, a minus 145 favorite against NC State, and then Texas A&M, a minus 160 favorite against Florida. That first game, Kentucky 9.5, A&M and Florida 11 on the total. Good luck if you want to bet the unders in these games, Alex.
What does that mean? Because of what we saw yesterday?
Well, I mean, only the best left-handed pitcher in the country just got beat up pretty good yesterday. First game was an easy under, but that second game, craziness in that second game.
You're right. A lot of errors from a pretty good fielding team. So we'll see what happens today. But we've got the aces. You know what these first games of the World Series. But anyways, number 4 of the starting 5, WNBA, 2 games today, one starting in an hour. But the big one today, the New York Liberty at Las Vegas to take on the Aces. The Aces are a 2.5-point favorite, total 174.5. Remember, this is our finals matchup from a year ago.
When you mentioned Aces, I thought you were talking about these Aces that you just mentioned with Vegas favored today at home. Not the actual pitching Aces. And then number 5, U.S. Open, cut line ended up being higher than we expected it. Five overs got through. Scotty Scheffler somehow gets through. He's even so far in the round today, but we have to wait till the afternoon. Ludwig Åberg, first U.S. Open. He finished second in the Masters in his first Masters tournament. He's plus around $3 right now to be your betting favorite. One shot ahead of Bryson DeChambeau, Thomas Dietrich, and Patrick Cantlay entering the weekend at Pinehurst. And that's your starting 5 here today on Sports by the Book. All right, let's hop in. By the way, one other thing, we'll throw in a little 6th man real quick. Croatia, Spain underway. We were under 2.5 in that matchup. We also hit Switzerland this morning. I'll be very quick. Italy, Albania later today. I do not have a bet. So no bet on that one with Italy. A 1.5 favored with a total of 2.5. Albania making their first ever international competition appearance in this one.
Stay tuned. Keep following our show because Jeff will have plenty as it goes on.
Let's go to hockey first. Let's go there.
Okay.
Game 4 tonight, north of the border. Edmonton tries to survive another day. You're down 3-0. Stanley Cup final, as we know, Alex, only one team has ever made a 3-0 comeback. That was in 1942. A long time ago. That's 82 years ago. As I jokingly said the other day, the Maple Leafs of all teams did it to the Red Wings back in 1942. So, hey, Canada has a history with it, right? Oilers minus 115, Panthers plus 105, dime line behind us from Chris and Company. Total 5.5 on this one.
I haven't done anything with the side just yet, but I am leaning to the Oilers as I was with the Mavs yesterday. I did end up making a bet on them getting that +1. So I did bet the over in this one, though. Again, over 5.5. We saw low-scoring games in the first two, but in Edmonton, faster ice. I mean, now backs against the wall with the Oilers. Kind of found something in that third period of the third game in desperation, and now we're going to have a full game here with them in desperation, trying to force a Game 5. Both teams can score, though. I'm not expecting just the Oilers to put some goals in the back of the net. The Panthers are a very good offensive team as well as defensive team, and that is how they have this big lead in the series. But best play in this game for me, over that 5.5. Probably going to end up doing a little Moneyline Oilers and over as well.
You know, I'll just ask you this. With the way that this series has gone, Florida has stayed out of the box. That's been the key to whole postseason for the most part with this Florida Panther team. Haven't had any sort of real penalty blow-up games yet from really anyone in this series other than Draisaitl's elbow that flipped game 2. I think I'm on in the same camp as you on the total. I think I would lean to the over. Lean there. I have no idea on the side. I just, last night has my brain all over the place because I really thought Dallas was going to be in total give-up mode, and Boston just decided not to play last night in a potential closeout to win a title in the sweep. Hockey players we know are built differently. We know that. I know if you're Florida, you just want to get this thing over with, get your parade down there in South Florida on Wednesday or Tuesday of next week. I would steer clear of the side. I would lean to follow you on the over. That would be the only thing I'd look to do in this game.
It is really tough because after the Mavs did do that and we saw that performance, that gave me less hope for Edmonton to force a Game 5 here. We usually don't see that same result back to back. But, I mean, said it yesterday with Dallas, and it's the same thing. It's a pride thing, right? You don't want to be swept. At least if you win one and you get that gentleman's sweep, it looks a little bit better. But on the other side, Florida, I mean, they've had their eyes on the prize the entire year after losing last year to the Vegas Golden Knights. So they've been prepping for this moment. You're right. They just want to get it done. That's been the disappointing part for Edmonton is their lack of success on the power play. They've had 10 opportunities and they're 0-10 in all of those opportunities. So they've really struggled there with the man advantage, and credit to Florida for that. And you're right. They've been smart enough, though, to only give them those 10 and then great penalty kill.
So I'll ask you this. This is one of those scenarios here, just to change course slightly here, where the Conn Smythe right now, in the betting landscape of things, I don't want to say it's over, but Sergei Bobrovsky entering tonight's minus 380 to win the Conn Smythe. It's a pretty nice size favorite. Barkov just flip that minus side to a plus 380. These are from DraftKings. And then McDavid's at 16-1. Everyone else is 100-1 or longer. I read an article the other day. I forget who it was on the Florida beat that wrote an article basically saying that this is a tough choice between Sergei Bobrovsky at minus 380, Barkov, and then how about Gustav Forsling, who's at 150-1 right now. And this is kind of one of those classic situations where, and our old friend Gil Alexander has brought this up in the past with other awards, especially with Brandon Crawford a few years ago with the year the Giants won 107 games in the MVP race when he was 250-1 the whole year. He didn't win, obviously, but it's interesting to have that kind of perspective outside of the gambling space here real quick, Alex, where, hey, this might be a little closer than the gambling market happens to say. I still think Bobrovsky wins. I would be surprised if he didn't. But I just wonder if you got some pizza money. I wonder if that's worth putting a little bit on Forsling and a little bit on Barkov just in case if the voters do something a little bit surprising here, Alex.
I was just going to say that too. I mean, maybe a little pizza money, not a full unit size bet on any of these going in there because it's been such a team effort in regards to the skaters, right? So it'd be very hard to just pick somebody where you can just go with the goalie who has literally stood on his head and got them this far against some very good teams. So, yeah, I mean, I'm with you. Little pizza money, but nothing more than that.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. Don't go betting 5 units on this. Go bet a third of a unit. Go bet a fifth of a unit even, especially at that 100 to 50 to 1. And you'd probably even get away with a tenth of a unit at that point. But I don't have a bet on the side. You're looking at the Oilers. You're looking at the over. That would probably be the way I play it. But again, it would not shock me one bit if Florida just sucks the life out of Edmonton early, and it's just hard to get off the mat at that point, down 3-0 with the way this series has gone. So would not shock me one bit if tonight's the night and the state of Florida gets cup number 4, the Panthers get cup number 1. And it's kind of funny. Yes, we think hockey. Nevada and Florida we'll have 5 cups between the two of them if the Panthers close this out, since the country of Canada won their last one in 1993 with the Canadiens.
And Frank brought that up yesterday. He's like, something just doesn't feel right about Florida. And Tampa Bay, he's right. I mean, that feels a little bit different. But now the Florida Panthers to win the Stanley Cup. But it will be very exciting for them and their first one ever. And you make a valid point. If they do go down, I don't know if we'll see that same effort that we saw in that third period to try and get back in that game, because the Panthers really are just shutting them down and doing everything they can for them not to score.
You know, it is kind of funny, like what you just brought up. It doesn't have the same connotation when it's, Tampa has 3 cups. Doesn't feel as weird as like Florida Panthers, really? But yeah, again, plus 105 behind us here tonight on this one. Again, we'll see. We'll see how it plays out for the Panthers and the Oilers here. By the way, if the Oilers do win game number 5, played on Tuesday in South Florida, if necessary.
Another long travel back to Florida.
Also, the fact that these both the Cup final and the NBA finals are on the same network also helping that these games are a little more spread out now than these usual 2-2, 1-1-1 series. All right, let's go to the NBA finals first, and then we'll shift over to the W, because we have a game going at the top of the next hour, and then a big time one just north of us here in town. Looking at last night, and I don't have much to offer on what happened last night. I think it's pretty simple. Luka played great. The Celtics didn't care last night. And with a title on the line, you would have expected a little bit more from Boston. Just at least a little. Just show up. Losing by 40. The Mavs now have a positive point differential in this series. Yeah, that makes sense in a series that's clearly been Boston's. The official stat on that, 580, and this is from OptaStats, who I love on Twitter, by the way. 580 instances in NBA history where a team entered a playoff game being outscored by 30-plus points in the series. Dallas is the first team ever of those 580 to enter the fourth game with a positive point, to exit the fourth game, I should say, going into game 5 with a positive point differential. That's how big of a beatdown that was last night. Alex, early thoughts for Monday? We're not on the air. This is the last show we have. 7, 209. Game still found a way to go under last night, even with Dallas being as high scoring as they were, because Boston didn't show. I don't know. Again, I'm still in the camp as I was yesterday. I just want this thing to be over with at this point. Boston's going to win. They're not blowing a 3-0 lead. I guess I would lean to the favorite here, but I don't know. I mean, that was really really a horrible effort last night from Boston with a chance to lock things up.
We talked a lot yesterday about you missing that bet that you really liked with all the chalk and the Panthers and the Celtics winning both of these. And I'm in the same boat now because I talked a lot about Celtics doing it in 5 after game 2 and that plus 175. And then if I would get more after Boston won and I never made that bet. And now we're sitting here with the Celtics -7 at home. I think that is the right number. I don't think I'll touch the point spread. I will definitely have Celtics money line in some capacity though. I do think they get it done here in game 5 at home, but there was another tweet out there, Jeff, and I'll look for it on a break because Ryan sent it and I'll give them credit. But history will be made because no team has ever won the series after losing by 30-plus points, which would put Boston in that spot. And nobody has ever come back from a 3-0 hole. So that is for the Mavs. So one or the other will get it done. Of course, it's not really the same for the Celtics when it's game 4 and they kind of just wave the white flag. But, I mean, yeah, I think, are you in the boat that Dallas can push this farther and maybe win one in Boston and go back home?
If they win game 5, they're winning game 6.
Ooh.
I feel pretty good about that. I have no idea if they're winning game 5, though. I would imagine in Boston, enough is enough. Let's just win this in front of the home crowd. That's it. We had banner number 18. That would be the way I would look at it more so than anything. And
nothing with Porzingis, right? He should be out for the entire series as of now.
Oh, I mean, he was active last night. He didn't play, but they dressed him. So, I mean, look, if this gets to game 6, yeah, we probably see him. I wouldn't play him in game 5. I don't think that Boston necessarily needs him in order to win one game at home here to wrap this thing up and just put this season to rest at this point. Boston right now, 7 for game 5. If you want series prices, Boston down to -2,400 now. The Mavs 12-1 on the series price for the Celtics and the Mavericks here in this one in the NBA Finals.
Jaylen Brown still the favorite
to win the
Finals MVP.
Yes, he is. And after last night, I would be stunned if anyone can catch him on the Boston side. I really would be. Again, Luka's now shortened, but that makes sense. He's 11-1 now. Brown's -235 right now on that. Drew Holiday 35-1 would be the only thing I'd even consider outside of Brown. Tatum's a +255. Tatum was dreadful last night, so we'll see how Game 4 goes. Again, Game 5 goes, I should say. I think we both think it's going to end though on Monday, even though we both thought it was going to end yesterday. So at least I thought it was going to end yesterday with that in Big D. Again, the Mavs just eviscerating the Celtics last night.
Yeah, I mean, backs against the wall, and I've talked about this before, but my dad has said, like, the hardest thing to do is close out the series. When you're up those 3 games, closing it out, getting that 4th is the hardest thing. The other team has absolutely nothing to lose, and you're going to get all their best effort. So I was definitely leaning towards Dallas in that one. Any players that you think are going to step up in Game 5? I know it's still early. We have plenty of time, but like you said, we won't be on the air. So either team that you would look at points, rebounds, or assists.
I'm going to stay out of the player props. It's been a mixed bag all the way around this series, so I would stay out of that. Again, I'm probably just not going to play anything here. If you made me play Game 5, I would lay Boston, and probably that this is the end. Probably would still look to the under too, even though we're now in the 2-0s now. Again, even with Dallas putting up in the 120s last night, still didn't get there because of Boston's mediocre effort on offense. So,
depending on the team total, this might be the game to jump on the under for the Mavs.
Could. Again, 3-1 of the under so far in the series. Only one they went over was last night, of course, naturally.
Yeah.
That's the way the cookie crumbles on that one. All right, let's go to the WNBA. 2 games here today, Alex. Connecticut on the road at Dallas. We've talked about Dallas's struggles, a lot of injury-related struggles for the Wings. Suns 6, 156.5 the total on that first game, Alex.
Little, like half a unit for me on the over in this one. We're really just seeing a lot of overs right now since the Commissioner Cup games ended. Connecticut, one of the best offenses in the league, so I expect a lot of offense from them. Wings lost 4 in a row now, 1-5 ATS in those games. So they have really been struggling, looking to turn it around here. And they are 4-1 to the over in their last 5 games, though. So we've seen it offensively, not so much defensively. New York on a nice little over trend as well, 3 straight. That must have been Connecticut.
Connecticut right now, again, if you're looking just flat out standings here, Connecticut is still the number 1 overall team in the league. They're 11-1. They did not win the Eastern Conference side of the Commissioner's Cup, as we talked about. New York went to Mohegan Sun, beat them there. Liberty ran the table in the Commissioner Cup. They're going to host the Lynx in a few weeks at Barclays Center for that Commissioner Cup champion. Liberty going for 2 straight, by the way, in the Commissioner Cup.
I'm glad you brought that up. That's where my notes got confused because, yes, Connecticut only lost by 7 to the Liberty, so they have been very impressive.
I mean, they've been, and we kind of talked about this too, where they have taken advantage of beating the non-elite teams in this league. And you kind of have to do that as well. I mean, you look at what the Sun have done. They beat the Lynx in overtime. Their high-quality win. The Lynx have been excellent so far this year. Other than that, I mean, their best win is against probably that road game against an injured Atlanta Dream team. So they haven't played Seattle yet. They haven't played Vegas yet. They're 0-1 against New York. So I want to see, again, you're not playing an elite team today. You're not in Dallas. But after a game against LA, they go back-to-back on the road in Vegas on Friday next week and on Sunday in Seattle. We'll learn a little bit more about this Connecticut team, even though the Aces aren't the Aces that we know, at least, for the most part so far to begin this year. Speaking of the Vegas Aces, the Las Vegas Aces will take on the New York Liberty tonight, or this afternoon, I should say, in a big regular season game. The Aces behind us are 2. It's mostly 2.5 now in the market, Alex. 174.5 behind us, as high as 175 in the market, as low as 173.5 in the market. So all over the map again on a total in the WNBA. I'm sticking with what I said earlier in the week. I like the Aces here in this spot. They finally had a big-time offensive effort against Phoenix. Now, granted, took 60-plus points between Wilson and Young in order to beat Phoenix. May not be the best of signs, but this kind of feels like the opportunity. You get yourself right. You get up for a team that you played in the WNBA Finals a year ago, a team that beat Vegas here in Vegas for the Commissioner Cup a year ago. As good as the Liberty have been, I do like Vegas, especially if you can get the 2 that is out there still behind us. One other book has a 2. That would be the way I would look. I would lay the 2 before this gets any higher here, Alex.
I'm not going to touch the side. I am with you. I lean that way. I did make them about a 4-point favorite here at home. I still worry about this team, and especially with their defensive effort that we have seen. We may see Chelsea Gray, which would help them out a whole lot, but I did go over. I went over 171.5 last night. I don't know. It's a big jump here to give that out and tell other people to go over 174.5. Let me see what my number is exactly. It is 178. So it is still close there, but New York's the best offensive rating in the league. They average 85.8 points a game. Second best shooting percentage at 45.2. And then the Aces second best offensive rating, averaging 87.3 points a game. As I mentioned, a lot of these games since the Commissioner Cup, seeing them loosen up a little bit on the defensive side and really turning into shootouts. A lot of points. We just saw it with Phoenix and Las Vegas. So I'm expecting a shootout in this one as well.
Again, this is the first of 3 that these teams will play this year. Vegas with the 2 home games in the regular season. Again, that alternates between the West and the East teams when you're going out of conference in the WNBA. All right, we'll take a quick break. When we get back, we go to the Diamond professionally and collegiately. Look at the College World Series and a Saturday in baseball. That's next. Sports by the Book, South Point Studio.
From the South Point studio, the perfect blend of sports,
But I think the Niners are going to wear them down. Detroit Pistons lost their 36 games.
comedy,
See over-under on that relationship lasting. I'm going to put mayo in the coffee.
I am beautiful, and a whole lot of Pittsburgh.
In Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh. Yeah. Pittsburgh.
Join Ryan McCormick,
That's at least 2 picks outside of our own in the first round next year. Oreo.
and host Frank Nicotero.
When I look at the clock, I go, ah!
Watch Punchlines live at noon every weekday.
Once you've satisfied your hunger, get ready for more of the hottest casino games in Vegas. Our 24-hour, 30-table non-smoking poker room proudly hosts all the most popular poker games with a variety of betting limits. Visit the poker room for a schedule of daily tournaments. Whether you're going to hold 'em or fold 'em, the best place for poker is at South Point Casino. You'll notice that our craps tables are usually the loudest in the casino. If you've never played, join one of our free craps lessons to find out what makes this game so exciting. Check with the craps dealer for schedules and give it a roll. Bingo is also an exciting way to spend your time. We offer 7 sessions of bingo every day. And each session includes a cash ball jackpot, 12 bingo games, a progressive double action game, and a $10,000 bonus coverall. Electronic units are available. If you haven't played bingo with us, give it a try today. Guests can also get in on the action at our one-of-a-kind race and sports books. 2 separate rooms designed to maximize your experience and comfort. Our sports book, with over 400 seats, puts you right in the middle of the action, 24 hours a day.
Welcome back in Sports by the Book. Wow, look at wow,
Very
Sean.
good,
That's,
Sean.
what a scene there. More balloons. We need more balloons. Jeff Parles, Alex White is here as well. See, Sean keeps us on our toes. I like that. That's a good job, Sean.
Any big plans for your birthday?
I'll be at
weekend?
Michelob Ultra Arena in a few hours. Go see the Aces play the Liberty, and then go to a good dinner tonight. Nothing too crazy. Nothing too crazy.
All right. I hope
I'm-
the Aces win for you
Well,
and cover.
the
of course.
forget the win, just cover the
Yes.
number. I mean, just win the game, but win the game by 3, or win the game by 2, so I don't lose any money. I mean, either way. Even though I probably should just not play anything else today because we're 1-0 on the day. Got to Switzerland before I was awake this morning. Game started at 6 a.m. Switzerland wins 3-1 over Hungary. So maybe we just slow it down here and really go fresh there tomorrow. Real quick, just speaking of the soccer before we go into the Diamond Sports here real
Yes.
quick. Tomorrow, England's in action. They are the favorite to win the tournament going in. England right now behind us. If you're looking at the lines here at the South Point, remember spread, which is the goal line, and the total, which is obviously the total. By the way, we're 26 minutes in, and Croatia, Spain still 0-0. England is laying a goal against Serbia. 2.5 is the total, juiced to the over. England was the pre-tournament favorite. If you can find a 1.5 anywhere on Serbia and the juice is not crazy, I would look to take a goal and a half, not 1. We see if you can get a 1.5. I think England by 1 is the right result. So if you can find a plus 1.5 on Serbia, that would be a look for tomorrow. The other 2 matches, nothing there. The Dutch, they're minus 180 on the 3-way line against Poland, who is down. This is not a particularly good Polish squad. Nothing on that. Denmark, Slovenia. Denmark was one of the bigger disappointments in the World Cup 2 years ago. I would stay off of that, minus 130 on the Danes. Slovenia might be the second worst team in this field, though, so you might have a shot if you want in-game on a better number on the Danes, if the game's going the way you want. On Monday, I can tell you right now, even though you have juice, I like over 2.5 in Austria and France.
Okay.
I like over in that matchup. France, best scoring team in this tournament. team that I picked to win the tournament on the podcast earlier in the week. Austria, better group than usual. We'll look at 2.5 over on that one. And then don't worry, we'll have something for Tuesday, on Tuesday when we're back on the air, Alex. So we'll do that. There's only 2 games on Tuesday, which is interesting. Usually it's all the way through. By the way, Spain just cracked through with Murata. So a 1-0 lead for Spain against Croatia in the 29th minute. All right, to the Diamonds, Alex. Let's start in Major League Baseball here. You brought it up in the open. The top 2 teams in the American League West, even though this is not, again, this is a little bit surprising here that Seattle I don't think they played particularly great baseball, but here they are, 10 games over 500, 6.5 games clear, a 1-run win last night, 3-2 over Texas. And then tonight, they'll throw George Kirby against Nathan Eovaldi. Been an interesting bet game, -128 to now -122 on the M's at home against Texas.
Still would lean to the under, even though that's very low
6.5.
here. Yeah, so that scares me. And I only have about a half a goal difference here at 6. But the Rangers have really struggled offensively. I mean, 2.9 average runs in their last 7 games, just batting .201. Yesterday, Mariners win 3-2. That was the correct side. I'm going to stay away from the side as well. 122, I think, is a little aggressive on George Kirby when we do know how good Nathan Eovaldi is. So I would lean to the plus money with the dog here, but I'm going to stay away from this one.
6.5s. We're seeing a few more of those this week than we have, and they've been Seattle-based ones because the Crochet one was 6.5 until Castillo got scratched. He had that over. It didn't matter. He still went under in that game, even with the scratch at the starting pitcher. The rest of the baseball slate today, I want to go to Dodgers-Royals real quick because Seth Lugo has had a tremendous start to the year. Dodgers beat the Royals late last night 4-3. Dodgers are $2 favorites with Yamamoto tonight. 7.5 the total. Now, there are some off-the-radar analytics with Lugo that would scream a regress coming, but I would lean to an under here. If we can get to 8, Alex, which right now most of the market is 7.5, including behind us, it's mostly juiced to the over, which tells me at some point we're going to see an 8 juiced under.
Yeah.
Especially with this being a late game. So I would wait this thing out. If you're in a jurisdiction that you see an 8, I would go ahead and take an 8, -115, -120 even. I think you're okay there. But here in Nevada, wait till you see that 8 and then go ahead and you can go under in that, Alex. That would be the way I'd look to play it.
I do think the Dodgers should be this big of a favorite here over the Royals.
Problem with the price on that.
Yeah, I mean, if I were to play it, I'd probably lay the run line here. And you're right, Seth Lugo has been very good, but last 3 starts, opponents' batting average 267, so they are starting to hit him a little bit. Compared to Yamamoto, his last 3 starts, 191, even xFIP 2.32, so done very well. Look to the Dodgers side. I'm with you if you can get an 8, though. I wouldn't go under 7.5. Not with that Dodgers offense, right?
Yeah, again, 8. That's
8.
It's critical to get that right number on that. 7.5. Yeah, I know the even money, potential plus money is enticing, but make sure you get the 8. Make sure you get the 8. That's important when we go to that. And then looking at the rest of the slate, Phillies and Orioles. You're getting the Phillies at +165 today. I know it's Grayson Rodriguez on the Orioles side and the Taijuan Walker, who's had his problems away from Citizens Bank this year.
Yes.
On the other side, but you don't see that type of price on Philadelphia very often, Alex.
And they're feeling good. I mean, went
nice
to
win in
extra
extras
innings.
last night,
Yep, yesterday, but they did get the win 5-3 over the O's there. So I don't hate that at all. I do think that this is a little bit of overpriced here for the Orioles at -180. That would be the only way I'd play it, Phillies. And maybe, you know what? that run line, maybe a little bit of both there. Split it up, take the plus 165, and then lay the minus 130 with the run line for insurance, because after yesterday's Florida State loss,
Oh, boy.
I might need to start doing a little insurance there with the run line.
That was brutal. 12, only the best left-handed pitcher in college baseball, and it's a 12-11 game, as we all expected in that one yesterday in Omaha. One last one real quick for baseball I just want to bring up. The wind yesterday at Wrigley was beyond insane. Beyond insane. Patrick Wisdom had a ball blown in 60 feet on what would have been a home run. It ended up being just a long out yesterday. Now today, just throwing this out there here, the wind blowing right to left today, only 8 miles an hour. So it's a very different wind day today. So with that said, even in an Imanaga start here today, this would be a look to, if you can get an 8, go ahead, bet it over. It's mostly 8.5 in the market right now. I was saying at 8.5, I still think that's solid on an over with that, even with Imanaga going today for Chicago.
Very interesting. So we have 3 guys who are in the running for Rookie of the Year, right?
At least
Imanaga.
Imanaga is your favorite, then Skeens, then Yamamoto, and then, of course, Jared Jones is there as well.
Yep.
So there's 4 guys that I think have a legitimate shot in the National League right now.
Yes, 3 of them going today.
Yeah.
So I look for some strikeout props as well.
Yeah, Jones is pitching in Colorado, so as always, tread a little carefully there.
Yes, definitely.
Jones is minus 160 on the road. Ty Block, who's not any good, goes for the Rockies in that game. Also, the Mets are looking to make it 4 in a row since Grimace threw out the first pitch. So just throwing that out there, very, very precise science on that. Mets are favorite today, minus 116.
Not bad at all. I asked you yesterday, do you like the Padres today? And you told me that. I stayed off of them. Mets did win 2-1, correct?
Yeah, no, I didn't. I thought the pricing yesterday was all solid. So,
Yeah.
definitely the reason for staying off of that. To the College World Series next here, Alex. The 2 games here today. Right now behind us, Kentucky. This game starts at 11 out here on the West Coast. Kentucky, minus 145. Total's been hammered to the under. 9.5 all the way to 8.5 here, Alex.
Yeah.
A little surprising on that?
Well, I was going to say I take the under at 9.5, but now at 8.5, I think that's okay, and I would stay away from the total there.
And then the other game from 11 to 9.5 again on this one, A&M and Florida. A&M minus 140. So big under action so far this morning here on the College World Series.
But, I mean, if you watch these games, pay attention, you can jump in and get a better in-game for an under. So I am on under 10.5 in that one as well.
All right, let's take a quick break. When we get back, Chris Andrews on set will join us next. Sports by the Book, South Point Studio.
South Point is also proud to provide a variety of relaxing amenities for the guests who want to be pampered. Soak up the sun and let your stress melt away in our lagoon-style paradise swimming pool. A relaxing getaway where you can bask in the desert sun and enjoy seasonal food and bar service poolside. And if you really want to escape, come to Spa Costa del Sur. From couple suites to a co-ed wet area, our spa caters to business and leisure travelers who want to unwind and elevate their senses. A visit to one of our spa's steam, sauna, or whirlpool treatment rooms will leave any guest feeling like they can take on the world. Our gaming amenities include over 60 table games and over 2,600 of the most popular slot and video poker machines. We have penny slots, including the popular Buffalo games, and real machines like Wheel of Fortune, Triple Sevens, and Megabucks. If you prefer video poker, try Deuces Wild, Double Double Bonus, or a variety of multi-denomination games. Or try your hand at one of the most popular casino table games in the world, Blackjack. Don't let the game intimidate you. Blackjack, also known as 21, is both easy and fun. And our dealers are always happy to assist. And the best part? Blackjack always pays 3 to 2. Next, check out the roulette tables. Roulette is one of the easiest casino games to learn, and so much fun to play. It's a favorite of both beginners and seasoned players. In addition to blackjack and roulette, our casino pit features over 60 popular table games like Baccarat, Pai-Gow Poker, 3-Card Poker, Ultimate Texas Hold'em, and Mississippi Stud. So get out of your room and come join in the fun.
Welcome back in Sports by the Book, South Point Studio. I'm Jeff Parles. Alex White is here as always as well. And now joining us, Sportsbook Director here at the South Point, our guy Chris Andrews. What's on the polo today? The Star Hotel up in Elko.
Star Hotel in Elko.
In Elko.
Anybody? Now I know everybody in Vegas thinks that Nevada ends at the Ann Road exit. No, it does not. We're the 5th biggest state, I think, in the union. I think maybe.
Is that true?
5th or 7th. I always kind of forget.
Okay.
Well, you got Alaska, Texas, California, Montana. We might be 5th. Anyway, the point is, it's a big state out there, and there's a lot of desert, a lot of like a rugged beauty to it. Elko, I just love that town, and I used to go there a lot. You've been there?
I have, a few times. I like Elko as well.
I had a couple sports books there for a while. Yeah, and met some pretty interesting people there. And the Star Hotel is a Basque restaurant. I love the Basque people, and I love Basque food, and we don't have them probably anywhere south of Reno. And there's in Gardnerville, anywhere south of Gardnerville, Nevada. And I don't know why. I love it. Great food.
7th, by the way.
7th?
7th.
What's the...
I'm going to get the list in a second.
Okay.
But it is the 7th by area.
Yeah, by area.
By area.
Obviously not population.
No, we'd have a few more electoral votes.
Yeah, I know. I wouldn't mind us getting a couple more. But anyway, I wrote down I had a couple baseball plays. I've been giving you a couple during the week. Only one move really on the sides. Astros, we went from -05 to -17. But a lot of total movement today. A lot of good action on totals. Blue Jays went from 9 under to 8.5 under. Astros went from 7.5 flat to 8 flat. Red Sox from 9 under to 8 over 15. Giants from 8 under to 7.5 over. And the Orioles from 8.5 under a quarter to 8 flat. So good total movement there. Our baseball handle has really been good lately.
It's we've every time you've come in, we've talked about this too, because normally there are a lot of people out there and just, hey, it's the summer, it's baseball every single day.
Yeah.
How can I grind every single day? But we've talked about this. Great prices, easy in and out access, the easiest there is. Basically.
I have said that for years. That's a big plus that we have.
And look, every single day you've come in here, and that sticky note. When I know you have the sticky note, I know there's going to be a lot of good stuff.
We had action,
yeah, and it's and this is a good sign for the rest of the summer that's coming too, Chris. Where you're in June, there's still a lot of things going on right now.
Hey,
people are going to be betting this like crazy all the month of July too.
We got the Euro.
Yeah,
people
going on right now.
Loving the Euro.
Yeah.
We got the Copa America coming up. I think we'll do a lot of business there. Got the Olympics a little later. So I think it's going to be a busier summer than usual.
Can I ask you about the Olympics real quick?
Yeah.
Because obviously there are rules on what can and can't be booked, especially here in Nevada, a little more strict than other places. But now with the basketballs, you've always booked that.
Yeah.
You booked other.
Well, there's a while when we couldn't.
Yeah, well, now you can at least. But I would imagine, especially now where everyone's looking for extra things to bet at the end of July, that would probably be one of the better Olympics you've had coming up here this year.
I believe it will be, yeah. Like I've always said, though, since PAPSA, it's really grown the market in every facet. And I think now people are more, accepting of betting, and even on the Olympics. Like I always used to laugh. They said the Olympics had this like purity, and we couldn't gamble on them. That's the most corrupt organization in the world. Are you kidding me? The IOC? Oh wait, I'm sorry. FIFA comes very close, but between the two,
it's pretty close.
It's
splitting hairs.
Let's call it a dead heat. But anyway, I have another reason for coming on the show today.
Yeah, please.
That I've asked to come on. Do you know about this?
No.
Rob Meach had the article today that he was writing about you and it makes you look very good, which the article doesn't make you look good. You look good. You've been a huge asset. Mentions your father and mentions your grandfather, who I knew 40-some years ago and was booking his action. But really, it talked about how, I wanted you to come in and help us with college basketball. Yes. And, I look around between me, Jimmy, Vinny, and Tony Sinisi. We're all getting a little long in the tooth. Somebody's going to have to replace us at some point in time. Then I started thinking this morning, because the article does kind of talk about, and you're a young woman, but you have ties to the old Vegas, for sure, from your grandfather. Your father's been around forever as well. And, both of them have, and not everybody knows Pete as well, but everybody knows your dad, Kenny. But a lot of ties to old Vegas. And then I started thinking, so you came back and joined us, and I found out you're Italian.
Yes.
So you had one Greek.
I've told Frank before, but he doesn't.
So you had one Greek
Frank
Jew.
claims you didn't tell him, yeah.
So we had one Greek Jew and 4 Italians. Now, if that isn't old school Vegas, I don't know what the hell is. So you fit in perfect. But like I said in the article, I said, and, Rob kind of picked up on it for sure, you're a very beautiful young lady. Congratulations. That's great. That's not why you were back there. You're back there because you know your stuff, you do your homework, and you're a huge asset to us. And, I'm glad we're going to keep going in the future as long as you're around here and as long as I'm around here, which I hope is a while more. We're going to keep doing that every year. And I think we've been really successful doing it. It's really been a great thing for the South Point. I'm glad you're now a part of it.
And I appreciate you so much. And I look forward to reading the article. I didn't know that it came out already.
Yeah, it came out this morning. Rob Meich.
Yes.
I think it's M-E-I-C-H. Rob Meich, and I've retweeted it, and I'm sure a lot of other people, a lot of friends of the show have retweeted it as well. Great picture of you and your dad. So you should be very proud. And I think Rob did a real good job, really telling your story and telling, the whole story about you and us and everything else. So, congratulations.
I appreciate it, Chris. And thank you. And honestly, I'm just a girl that loves sports, that thought my dad and grandpa were the coolest people ever doing what they did, and took a chance to follow in their footsteps in the sports betting sense, right?
Right.
And try to learn as much as I could. And then so grateful for you and Vinny for giving me a shot here to sit at the desk with Jeff and talk about sports betting every day.
Well,
so
you guys are doing great. You and Jeff are, both very thorough. And by the way, happy birthday, Jeff.
Appreciate it, Chris.
How old?
Yeah.
Sorry,
Jeff.
How old am I? 31 today.
31.
Which,
okay.
yeah, it's,
you're a pup. You're
yeah,
a
it's still young.
Yeah,
still young.
Yeah.
It's hey, look, it's very weird when the number, like when the decade number flips.
Yeah.
After that, 30, 31, 32, 30, they're all the same, right, Chris? I mean,
well, I always, I have kids now that, oh, you're in your late 30s.
Yeah.
One's turning 40 actually this year.
The 30s, when the second number becomes a 6, that's when the mindset shifts. But those early numbers, I don't know, but I appreciate it.
Anyway, you're doing great. You guys are a great team, and you're both huge assets to us, and I'm glad to have you both aboard.
Also, Chicago Sun-Times, where this article is, of course. You were mentioned. You were asked a lot of questions about Alex. Alex, of course, like you said, your grandfather Kenny featured in this. Also, Patty Davidson as well.
Yeah, Patty Davidson
featured in this article as well.
I'd kind of forgotten about her. Yeah, but geez, she was another pioneer in this business from 30 years back. One thing I did say in the article, and I'm glad Rob put it in, is that Alex used to be known as Kenny White's daughter. Now Kenny's known as Alex White's father.
That's right.
So
that's correct.
We've kind of flipped the script there a little bit.
Yes, yes, we have.
And I think I think that's very appropriate. So good for both you guys. Really.
There's a lot of that's
a good article.
Just scanning through it real quick. There are a lot of names I haven't seen in a while that are mentioned in here, which is a lot of fun.
Scotty Scheller gets a mention.
Yeah, Scotty's in there. Yeah. Lefty's in there as well.
Lefty's in there. Well, I know he mentioned me and Jimmy and Vinny and Tony Sinisi. So yeah, Rob I think did a good job, and Rob always does a good job, really, and he shows us well here.
Oh, and also as well with our friend Rob, Alex, as we remember. To Rob's credit, the day before the NCAA tournament, we had Rob in here.
Yeah.
And I know this is a Jeff Fogel special that I'm about to bring up, but Rob brought up a Jeff Fogel special.
Another great name, but go ahead.
Let's just roll these things over with the Connecticut Huskies.
Yes.
And look, it's hard to cover 12 straight NCAA tournament games, but the Connecticut Huskies did it with these as a favorite yet again in this tournament.
Yeah, I can't remember which article it was because Rob's written about us a couple of times. But one time he came into my office and who's sitting there but Michael Gone. And I said, Michael, this is Rob Meese. He wrote, I can't remember what article. Oh, okay. Michael pulls out the comp slip and gives him 5 to Michael's. And I know what the bill was. When they called me, I said, does this go on Michael's comp or mine? He goes, Michael's. Okay, good. Yeah, tell Rob to run it up. It's not going to hurt my margins, and Michael can handle it.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Before we get out of here today, props on the NHL tonight.
I got them on. Oh, you got the sheet.
We got the sheet. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
I know. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, Alex was on over and favorite tonight, so Edmonton.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to tail on the over. After last night kind of messes with my head a little bit because Boston was just so bad last night. I know it's a different sport.
I hardly watched.
There's no point. It was over in the first 9 minutes.
I got home at like the end of the first quarter.
Yeah.
I was like, what am I watching here?
Yeah,
And I really
horrible.
barely paid attention the rest of the way.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, we had the game on and put music on the stereo.
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
Don't blame you. And then one other thing, too, U.S. Open, of course,
Yes,
Yeah.
we have to
going
ask.
on right now.
Yeah.
Leaders will tee off in about 2 hours
Right.
there at Pinehurst. And look, it's U.S. Open. There's 4 golfers within 3 shots.
Yeah.
It should be a very interesting golf tournament down
Yeah.
the stretch
Numbers
here.
are pretty good, though, with the leaders 4 under. I think.
5 under right
5
now
under, yeah.
for Ludwig Eberg, who
Yeah. I know
is ma-
Cantley's right there.
Ludwig Eberg would be the first player to win his U.S. Open debut in over 100 years.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
God, there's 2 names, too, that I didn't recognize that well. The one, the German guy.
Yes, Thomas Dietrich.
Okay. I've never heard of him. And go about 2 more down the leaderboard. Where's another guy? I wasn't even sure what flag that is.
Pavon,
Yeah.
the Frenchman.
Oh, is that the French flag?
Pavon, yeah,
I should know that.
Yeah, Pavon. 3.
Either of those 2 guys, by the way, would be great. Aberg, not so good.
I would imagine that there are a lot of with the way this leaderboard looks that Aberg would not be good. Rory probably wouldn't be good,
No, he wouldn't be good.
and then everyone else would probably be all right here for you guys.
Yeah.
Maybe DeChambeau, maybe have a little bit. But
He's
a
not
ton.
good. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's not good. But
Were you hoping Scotty missed the cut? Do you have?
No, I wasn't hoping that. Only because it would give us something to talk about. But in that sense, I was kind of hoping he would. Just because I think it's interesting.
Yeah.
I think at some point, I know we cover gambling mostly, but we're in the interesting business too. And I think that would have been interesting.
No,
And a lot of guys bet him to finish top 10, just thinking, well, here's a freebie. I'm just.
Well, I
I'm
mean,
going to
this
cash
is
that.
Right.
right now.
yes.
He is currently tied for 50th.
Okay. Well, he's still not out of the top 10.
I mean, you know what the thing is? Go out somehow, shoot 4 under tomorrow,
Yeah.
get to 1 over with the way U.S. Open courses play.
yeah.
Crazier things have happened to get a
Yeah.
top 10 in, Chris.
I mean, it all comes. I mean, the greens, and I don't pretend to know all that much about golf. I listen a lot to Barry Phillips. He says, the greens, they tell you how big the green is. He says, but it's really not true. It's really because the sides of the green, you're just going to wind up in the trap, even if you hit it. You have to hit like right by the hole. So obviously, some of those guys are doing it though.
Right.
I'm surprised. I was surprised that the scores were that good.
We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah.
We know that the USGA will make it as difficult as humanly possible.
I know.
these next
I know.
2 days.
They're hoping for the sunshine to bake those greens and make them like glass. I know that.
100%.
I don't think they'll be watering them down at all.
No, and it's going to be hot. There's no weather in the forest. It's just hot there in North Carolina.
Yeah.
So it'll be a lot of fun to see how it goes the rest of the weekend. Chris, pleasure as always.
Oh, my pleasure.
The pleasure as
Yes,
always.
thank you.
guys.
Definitely go check out that article. Rob Meesh tweeted it out. All of us have retweeted it.
Yeah.
I think everyone but Alex has retweeted it. this
I know.
morning.
That's why
Yeah.
I made sure.
Yeah.
And even I was talking to Ann. She said, Alex is not going to talk about herself.
Yeah.
So I got to come on here and talk about her. So,
So be on the lookout. Fun piece. Very fun piece.
yeah, it's very good.
And
Little did I know when I was booking your grandfather,
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. So 1980, that's 44 years ago. Or 81, I think. 81 is when I went to Cal Navy. 44. And you know why Pete liked me? Pete, because I put up the Cub total every day.
Mhm.
I put it up every day. And I remember Pete grabbed me and goes, "You're the only one. You're the only one." Well, I was getting them from Roxy at the time, so I was
Right.
they were pretty good. But one day it'd be 7.5 under and the next day it'd be 14 and a half over.
Right.
So, I'm trying to think of the one game, and I'm going back. I don't mean to keep you guys in.
Oh, you're good.
But I remember Rick Rusher was the stud for the Cubs, and the wind was blowing out, and they wound up winning the game. I want to say about 15 or 16 to 9, something like that. Rusher pitched a complete game, and they never even had anybody warming up. I mean, he gave up 9 runs. It was a masterpiece, and that's one of those things where don't just go by the numbers. I mean, he pitched a fantastic game. The wind was blowing out like crazy, and he gave up 9 runs. And like I'm telling you, he could have been Sandy Koufax. He looked so good. Rick Rusher was a great pitcher, too. Probably a lot of guys have forgotten about him.
There's some fun ones just going through, like with the wind, the 26. None of us were alive.
The
for that one,
Phillies?
but that 26-23 game.
I was there for that.
Yeah, I mean that's
I think Pete had the over on that one, so he was okay with me.
Yeah, I mean it's just you can get some weird stuff with that. Actually, 23-22. Actually, looking at
Is that what it was? Okay, yeah.
23-22. This is the Phillies over the Cubs. It's pretty funny. There's 2 games that involved the Phillies and the Cubs that both teams were in the 20s at Wrigley.
Really? Yeah. Okay.
One was all the way back in 1922.
Okay. Wow.
You weren't there.
I was
for
not
that
around
one.
for that.
I would
one.
hope you weren't
Yeah,
for that one.
No, I was not around for that.
26-23, and then the one we're referring to right now, May 17, 1979, 23-22.
Yeah, I remember that game. Yeah, I think I was at the Stardust or the Barbary. I think I was at the Stardust for that.
And
my dad always tells the story because he would have to call Chicago weather every day and then call my grandpa to tell him which way the wind was blowing.
Yeah.
So, and he still has that number memorized.
Does he?
Yes, he does.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
By the way, Dave Kingman hit 3 homers in the 1970s.
Really?
Shocking, right?
Yeah.
Kingman would hit 3 in a game with the wind blowing 25 miles an hour out.
In my new book that I'm looking for a publisher, if anybody's out there listening, I've had it edited and everything else, and Roxy's actually reading it right now for any last-minute corrections. I have a good Dave Kingman story in it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Home runs are nothing for Dave Kingman.
He'd be perfect in today's game.
He sure would be. All right. That's all the time we have for today. Tomorrow here on the network, Ralph Sirocco's here, Race Day Las Vegas, 7 in the morning. Monday, Frank Nicotero's back. You know it'll be something crazy on Punchlines at noon, as always. And then we're back on Tuesday at 9 a.m., getting you ready for everything in the week of sports. We also have our football preview starting on Monday. It's never too early for football, right, Chris?
Never too early.
The Dallas Cowboys are up first, so it's a perfect spot to start for us.
It's June, right? Well, they're the best team in the
exactly.
NFL.
Look, even though they didn't win the offseason this year, Chris.
No, they did not.
They did not win the offseason this year. We'll see you again on Tuesday. Sports by the Buck, South Point Studio.